Let's take a moment to view the world from the eyes of giant kind. Did you feel that? There it is again. The briefest flash in the corner of your eye. A sudden, sharply sweet scent. An inexplicable twinge of anger. The world we see, as vast and wild as it is only the surface of what the realm has to offer. Come with me and open your mind to the beautifully strange power of Therenor, hiding in plain sight. In today's video, we're discussing the Fey, the elusive, borderline supernatural creatures that defy smallfolk understanding of the natural world, and the role they play throughout Therenor. You may have noticed that a lot of D&D YouTube is talking about Fey right now, and for good reason. It's Monster Week. This is a yearly event hosted by Ginny D and Pointy Hat, where we all come together as a community to talk about a single creature type. Last year was dragons. This year, our theme is Fey. We've gotten a lot of comments and questions about how Fey and other interplanar beings would work in Therenor, so we figured this would be the perfect time to address this, and to hopefully give you some inspiration on how to incorporate creatures like this into your world building in the future. Because it's Fey Week, a lot of your favorite creators have already covered what Fey are in the Forgotten Realms over the last few days. So we're going to keep this part really short. Fey in the Forgotten Realms come from a plane called the FEYWILD, an echo of the material plane full of natural beauty, impressive magic, and explosive emotions. The inhabitants of this plane, the Fey, are inspired by or directly borrowed from real-world Celtic, English, and Norse folktales, such as brownies, hags, selkies, pixies, and red or blue caps. Fey are, for the most part, humanoid in shape, and are often tricksters, governed by strange, unorthodox rules and traditions. So how would they work in Therenor? Before we get to Fey in Therenor, I want to make a quick mention of our Discord and our Patreon, two free things you could join right now to get special behind-the-scenes access to our design process as we work on things for Therenor, and a community of like-minded people who love world building and this realm. If you haven't joined yet, I highly suggest you do, and the things that people make here are beyond insane. It's a lot of fun. It's been stated before, but the setting of Therenor has been developed with the idea in mind that there's just one plane of existence, the one Therenor is located on. There is no Shadowfell, there's no Isgard, no Nine Hells, and no Feywild. So if Fey are, by definition, creatures which hail from the Feywilds, what are they in a world where the realm itself doesn't even exist? The way we chose to answer this is to really consider what another plane of existence is, or could be. One of the core ideas of the realm is that the world is not made for small folk, and we can use Fey to take this concept to the extreme. When we consider how small folk fail to understand the wilds of Therenor, what if they even lack the biology to perceive it fully to begin with? We see this all the time in our natural world. Humans often call themselves the most intelligent or most advanced or efficient species, but to what standard? Our senses of smell and sight aren't that great. There are colors and feelings that we can't perceive, emotions that we'll never know. What do caterpillars experience when they liquefy inside their cocoons? What is it to see with prismatic eyes, or to have the instinctual knowledge of a migration path taken by generations of your species? At its core, we can't comprehend what we can't perceive, and that is Therenor's Feywild. In Therenor, the Fey are immensely evolved animals that smallfolk view as the embodiment of the concepts of life, or, at the very least, our attempt at defining them within our understanding of the world, manifesting naturally and congregating in areas where these concepts and emotions are experienced strongest. They're elusive, otherworldly creatures which operate at a level mostly unknown to the realm's inhabitants. The Fey come in all shapes and sizes, though most range from tiny to small, and their strange morphology and striking prismatic color schemes dazzle and bewilder the few they reveal themselves to. Fey can be found anywhere and everywhere across the realm, though some kinds are more prevalent in certain regions of the world than others. Therenor's Fey outwardly appear alien and nonsensical. Their physical and mental attributes often defy all that we small folk find normal. Fey creatures are capable of adjusting their forms through advanced magic-infused camouflage. Shifting between patterns, textures, and colors our bodies are capable of seeing and feeling, to ones we simply cannot. In this way, Fey can seemingly vanish from existence on a whim, though in reality, they're choosing to engage with the natural world on a level higher than what we are capable of. Due to their nature, Fey activities become the topic of myth or folklore in small folk and even giant cultures, usually misattributing their activity to the 6 great spirits. Although the small folk understanding of the Fey is much more limited than that of the giants, even they misunderstand the fascinating behavior of these creatures. Unlike the great spirits, whose presence and the roles they play in the realm are described by small folk as broad and all-encompassing, the Fey exist on a much smaller scale. Referred to as minor spirits, their domains range from base emotions like anger, joy, and sadness, to the most niche of sensations, such as the frustration experienced from overcomplicating simple tasks, or the awe one might experience mere moments from being devoured. Why certain kinds of Fey or minor spirits congregate in these areas is a mystery, one the minds of small folk and giants would likely never understand. Giants in general do not dare disrupt the workings of these spirits, which are believed to be the purest living form of Therenor's magic. To harm or displace Fey is akin to directly opposing the realm itself. For this reason, giants will often completely disregard the presence of Fey creatures, having grown accustomed to their odd behaviors. Some Fey, however, drift away from their innate pathways, opting to engage more with the realm of small folk. These spirits develop their own identities, signaled by repetitive strings of vocalizations or imitations of common speech, while others might have names thrust upon them by small folk societies who encounter them throughout the years. Their presence inspires myths and stories, attracts swarms of scholars eager to decipher their abstract ways, and even predict future events, seen as boons or grave omens depending on the spirit making themselves known. What little we know of this seemingly unviewable world comes not from the mouths of giants, but from the small folk themselves. On exceedingly rare occasions, small folk are born with the ability to gaze beyond the sight of their kin and into the very soul of Therenor. Referred to as wayward spirits, these individuals mature into sorcerers, their erratic, detached mannerisms heavily influenced by the imperceivable creatures which surround them. In battle, wayward spirit sorcerers call upon their elusive peers for aid, in a new subclass for Therenor that I wanted to function similarly to Beastmaster Rangers or Wildfire Druids. Definitely needs some more fleshing out, so expect another video on it when it's finished. When it came to developing designs for Therenor's Fey, we wanted to invoke a sense of otherworldliness to these creatures, something not meant to be seen with normal eyes. The designs for Fey could vary wildly, from cute to whimsical, strange to horrifying, their anatomy seemingly nonsensical to small folk. Considering Fey in Therenor embody much more niche concepts found throughout the realm, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of potential topics to develop a Fey for. Unsurprisingly, designing things that are meant to be imperceptible is hard. So you can imagine that what you're seeing here is examples of Fey that are choosing to make themselves known or seen. We wanted to go a little more animalistic in the depiction of Fey, as we often do on Therenor, to keep in line with the concept of them being evolved animals. The goal was to come up with designs that could lend themselves to a specific sense or emotion, and we tackled it in a couple of different ways. Some Fey designs began with random, top-of-the-brain sketches, where one eventually is chosen and continually worked on with sporadic ideas until a coherent theme or concept becomes apparent. Other times we began with the concept first, brainstormed things, animals, and activities which we felt represent the feeling we were going for, and then began to develop the creature, molding this list of attributes into a strange-looking beast. One of the spirits we developed represented the longing for travel, its final design ending up as this ethereal worm, tens of feet long, that floats through the air, using wide fins and dozens of horse-like legs to steer. Attracted to pathways walked with ancient migrational intent, it can be found in many places across Therenor, from its underground river systems to cloud giant hives, to trade routes in the expanse and scattered about Nalanzander. The spirit itself doesn't ride on the wind or swim about the water. It's immovable to things like torrential rain and gusts of wind. It's an aimless drifter, floating about until it encounters a traveling creature, their movement catching the spirit and dragging it along with them. Why does it act the way it does? What is its purpose? I'm not sure, and neither are Therenor smallfolk. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Ginny D and Pointy Hat for another fantastic Monster Week. Since last year, we've been looking forward to this one, and it's been awesome to get to participate another year. I'd also like to give a special thank you to our patrons who are generous enough to support us in this project. Our Smallfolk patrons are Lost Jungle Girl, Lucas Sestari, DFlame143, Muffin Man, and Kai Gould. For our Giantkin tier, we have Skyslug12, Frederick Corvey, Ethan Boyd, Tatara, Derek J346, and Art Rager. And then finally our true giant tier, Jake Bullock, Crimson Titan, Maximilian, Juan Mora, Captain Wooly, and Kurt Rose. 3 videos in 1 month is insane, but we somehow managed. Lee and I are going to recharge and come back strong in May. Thank you guys again, and see you next time.